So one turn and he should be away here. It's, as though Nico de Boinville might give a lead to the Big Breakaway. Heading towards the starter, Chantry House just shies. And they're off. Chantry House sets off in front under Nico de Boinville in this John O'Leary Memorial Future Stars Intermediate Chase, a listed race, and they arrive at the first fence. Chantry House jumps it well, and jumping it big and well, the Big Breakaway in second place. No water jump in the back straight, no pond fence to be jumped because of the low sun, so 9 fences each circuit, 18 in all. So they start down the back straight. Chantry House in the JP McManus colours, about 3.5 lengths clear of the Big Breakaway. On towards the third. And the plain fence and the open ditch will be next up. Chantry House, 4 out of 5 over fences last season. And this one, the Big Breakaway, certainly giving 1 or 2 of his fences so far plenty of air as they head now halfway down the back straight. Chantry House, long odds on here to beat the Big Breakaway. The official ratings certainly suggest Chantry House will be hard to beat. It's rated at 162. The Big Breakaway 148, only receiving £6. First the railway fences. Good jumping again, and now onto the middle one. Nico de Boinville on Chantry House on the Big Breakaway in the hands of Brendan Powles, enjoying a good season, a little bit untidy there, the Big Breakaway. Brendan Powell having achieved notable victories recently aboard Fitter on the Roof, but Carlisle and Eldorado Alain in the Horton Gold Cup at Exeter for the Tizzards. Heading right-handed, so they'll be racing past the pond fence. 2 fences in the home straight. On this circuit, it's a plain fence followed by an open ditch. It's very much a preliminary race for these 2 horses. Chantry House, 7-to-1 chance with Imperial Cup sponsors Paddy Power for the King George at Kempton on Boxing Day. It's behind Clan des Obeaux in the betting, Frodon and Manila Indo. Massive jump, got a lot of air, but not as quick as the Big Breakaway. Now an open ditch. And they're going to be almost stride for stride going to this one. The Big Breakaway just putting a bit of pressure on Chantry House going into this one. They both came up fairly well. So in front of the stands with a circuit to go, Chantry House with a narrow advantage. Chantry House, the winner of both the Cheltenham and Aintree Grand National Fence Festivals last season from the Big Breakaway. And some excellent races, 2nd in the Quarto Star, 3rd at the festival. Onto this right-hand turn. Coming to the end of the circuit. And downhill once again. Chantry House by a length to the Big Breakaway. This is fence number 10. Both jumping it boldly here. The Big Breakaway just a little wider out as they now turn into the back straight. 2 plain fences followed by an open ditch. Chantry House by 2 lengths. Going towards the first of this sequence. Chantry House shortens a little going into that one. Lands 3 lengths clear of the Big Breakaway. At the next. And now on to an open ditch. The leader about 5 clear now. Big Breakaway jumping well in second there, closed up a length perhaps. So on they go down the back straight and back towards the 3 railway fences. as they approach the concluding stages of this 3-miler. Chantry House and Nico de Moinville, having made all the running so far, stalked by sole rival, the Big Breakaway and Brendan Powell. And the better jump definitely there by the leader. The Big Breakaway made a mistake there in second. Chantry House at the next, again jumped well. The Big Breakaway possibly overcompensating, was a bit big, and now over the last in the back straight. And it is Chantry House. Nico de Moinville looks to his left. The Big Breakaway in second, if anything, jumping to the right, and now just being shaken up. And Chantry House suddenly looks in full command here as they run right-handed out of the back straight with just the 2 fences to go. The Big Breakaway coming under pressure, whereas Chantry House continues to gallop on smoothly. 2 fences left to jump, missing out the pond fence, so a long run to the second last. And it's Chantry House who's pulled some way clear now. It's a bit head on, could be a good 6 lengths to the Big Breakaway in second place as they approach this right-hand turn. And Chantry House is more like 7 or 8 lengths, in fact, turning in and approaching the second last. And now Nico de Moinville just shakes him up, tries to keep his eye on the ball, going towards the second last. Good jump from the Big Breakaway, well beaten now in second place. And now on towards the final fence then. It's Chantry House, who could have some big targets this winter. Comes to the last, shortens, jumps it cleanly, and is well clear of the Big Breakaway, who is a little untidy and looks weary and racing up the hill. It's Chantry House. He could be destined for Kempton in the King George. It could be Cheltenham for the Gold Cup later on. He returns with a facile defeat of the Big Breakaway.
Well, we need horses like him to come off this. We don't get Irish football today. One of our few original winners.
Nico de Moinville has just won that intermediate chase on Chantry House. That was about as good as it could possibly be in the circumstances, wasn't it?
Certainly. I mean, he had to do all the donkey work himself, and in actual fact it definitely helped me when Brendan came and joined me going past the stands. But I thought that was a great starting point for him, and that's why we have these races, for class horses like this.
And you were giving a little bit of a slap to Concentrate. Is that because he doesn't usually make his own running?
Exactly. I think that's the first time he sort of made it or had to make it, and we really had no choice. But it was just a case of keeping his eye on the ball and concentrate on him going forward and attacking his fences.
And from your perspective, I mean, punters and racegoers often want more runners in races such as these. Did it make it difficult for you, actually, just having the one rival? Could it have been more straightforward? Would you have liked a bit more of a field?
It's never easy when it's a sort of cat and mouse job. For jockeys, it's stuck between a rock and a hard place because there's no, someone's going to take the hit to go and make the running. And but look, today was about clear round of jumping and seeing the race out like that. And I don't think you're ever going to be flashy in races like that. But no, that was a good start.
It was a good time, though, comparative on the day. So he did it well. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Nico. Well done.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank
Cheers.
you.
I'm actually in the winners' enclosure with Nicky Henderson after Chantry House's victory in the John O'Leary Memorial Future Stars Intermediate Chase, a race you've won many times, Nicky, and is particularly special as well, run in memory of John O'Leary.
Well, it is. John was a good friend, lovely, lovely man, great golfer. And it was a few months ago, Pip Elson, one of his great mates, suggested that John had sadly died during COVID and never had the chance to say goodbye. And that it'd be nice to have him race in his memory. And so we got in touch with the brilliant Petra Goff at Sandown and said, because this was his local track, and he loved it. And so the name was put to this race, and I said, Pip, I like this idea because I've got this race in mind. So we've got a great gang of John's family and best mates here, and many, many great golfers. And I think more importantly than anything, one of his greatest mates was JP himself, who I know was very fond of John. And so, it's given us a lot of pleasure to win it for their family and for JP.
A very fitting tribute and a very fitting victory as well. Now, Chantry House, you must have been pleased by what you saw there.
You'd have to be happy. He could only do what he had to do. It was one of those sort of no-win situations, because if it had gone wrong, you were absolutely condemned to death. And he had to do it right, but I thought he did everything right, actually. I thought Nico went a good gallop, funny enough. I thought he was going to let it settle down a little bit more, but he kept the revs up all the way round, and that would have worried me slightly because he's a very laid-back horse at home that doesn't do a whole lot, doesn't tell you I'm brilliant. And consequently, sometimes they're the hardest horses to get ready first time out. It's quite testing. It's testing ground if you watched the novice chase before. They didn't seem to go very fast. They didn't finish either. It's not the easiest, but he jumped round there beautifully. He's quite sort of laid back about it in front. I think it helped him when the other horse came and sat beside him for a couple of 100 yards anyway, and no disgrace to him. He was a good horse at his time, and I'm delighted with him. He's jumped beautifully and he's done nothing wrong. He'll come on an awful lot for it just because he doesn't do a lot at home. So we've now got to sort of sit down and think. But he undoubtedly has proven, I think twice now, that he does stay 3 miles.
Yes.
Whereas up until as you know, up until Cheltenham last year, he'd only been running over 2.5. But now he's proven twice at Aintree and here that we genuinely stay 3. I think we stay 3. We'll stay at 3 miles and have to sort of discuss the next steps.
I'm assuming the Betfair chase is too soon and the King George might be a likely next step.
The Betfair is definitely too soon, and the plan would be for Champ to go there anyway, because Champ has to go left-handed. I think the King George has to be one of the options. We'll talk about it, but I see no reason really why not, because actually if you're apart from Ireland, there really isn't an awful lot to do at that time of the year. What I like about it is that because he had the pace to win at 2.5 throughout the early part of last year, I think he has the pace to travel at what Frodon is probably going to send them.
Yes.
And therefore he'll be able to, he'll still be within a comfort zone. And he stays. So those are the pluses. But there's lots of things to discuss and see. But yeah, it would be one of the plans.
And beyond that, it sounds like at this stage you're not decided between whether the back end of the season target might be the Gold Cup or the Ryanair.
No, we don't.
You don't have to make that
We're not
decision.
going to go into whether it's Cheltenham time or yet.
No, of course not. But I'm talking more about Trip. I'm talking more about Trip.
Yeah, Trip. I don't know. I think he's showing us now that he's very much a 3-miler that was good enough to be a 2.5 miler at the top level, and I think that gives you a very versatile horse. And if you stay, you've got every chance of, you've got the pace then to carry you through the race. You can take your breathers, and you've got a gear too. So it's encouraging, and I'm delighted with him today. Everybody's done great, and so far so good.
Absolutely, it's the ideal start. Nicky, thank you very much for your thoughts. I'll allow you to go enjoy the O'Leary family and raise a glass in his memory.
I will indeed. Thanks,
Thank you.
Lydia.